BuzzFeed was once one of the biggest websites on the internet. You could not escape it. Every quiz, list, and article was everywhere. A company like that, worth billions, it would be crazy to say that they would have to end up laying off hundreds of their employees, right? Shutting down BuzzFeed News and fighting just to survive? It would be crazy, right? Well, that is what happened. And the strange part is, BuzzFeed didn't really collapse because people got tired of listicles. For you who don't know, listicles is lists plus articles together. For me, it sounds like a list about testicles. And BuzzFeed didn't collapse because people started hating clickbait, and it certainly didn't happen overnight. The reason for this collapse started years earlier, when BuzzFeed made one tiny little decision that looked brilliant, a decision that helped build one of the biggest media companies on the internet, but also granted that one day it would all come crashing down. And back then, the internet felt completely different. There was no TikTok, and Instagram, they were still trying to find their identity, and YouTube was not the place most people spent their day. You want to know where they spent their day? Facebook. If you wanted to know what people were talking about at that time, you would go to Facebook. That was where the internet lived for a long time. And on Facebook, every time somebody refreshed their feed, BuzzFeed was there. And that was not because BuzzFeed got lucky. It was more like they understood something that nobody else did at that time. They understood that the internet had changed. People weren't searching for articles anymore. Articles were finding them. While everyone else were writing for Google, BuzzFeed were writing for the Facebook feed. Every headline, thumbnail, and opening sentence was built around one goal: stopping you, the viewer, from scrolling. And for a while, nobody in the world did it better than them. It worked. It worked so well. Better than anybody could have imagined. One article turned into 10, 10 turned into hundreds, and hundreds turned into thousands and thousands. While you were sitting there watching viral content, picking your asshole, BuzzFeed was learning from it. BuzzFeed learned what made people click, what made them share, what made them send an article to a friend at 2 in the morning. This wasn't luck. This became a system. Before long, BuzzFeed wasn't just another website. It became one of the biggest media companies in the world. Investors, they couldn't even throw money at it fast enough, and advertisers wanted to be everywhere where BuzzFeed was. And from all our perspectives, it looked like everything was going good. It looked like they had solved the internet. But success has a funny way of hiding problems, because when something is going good, you're not gonna look for bad things in it. Nobody stops to ask why, because if they had, they would have realized something. BuzzFeed wasn't really growing because people were in love in BuzzFeed and oh my god, BuzzFeed. They were growing because Facebook kept introducing them to new people. Could you imagine back then, people at BuzzFeed were sipping champagne and celebrating, thinking that they've cracked the code, while Facebook was there, just pushing their stuff because they didn't have anything else to put on the page. Every viral article started in the same place: Facebook, the Facebook feed. Every record-breaking month started in the same place: the Facebook feed. And every new reader came from the same place: the Facebook feed. And that wasn't a problem until one day that was the only problem that mattered. Something changed, not at BuzzFeed, but at Facebook. Nobody really noticed at first. One article got less views than the rest, then another. Some weeks were worse than others. But nobody panics over one bad week, especially when you've spent years growing. It felt temporary, like the numbers would bounce right back up. I mean, they always had before, but this time they didn't. Because Facebook had started asking a different question. Instead of asking, what will make people click? They started asking, what will make people stay on our platform for longer? And for most people, that sounds like a small change, but it certainly wasn't, because every time somebody clicked on a BuzzFeed article, they left Facebook because the articles were rage-inducing. And of course, Facebook didn't like that. So almost overnight, the thing that made BuzzFeed successful was now the thing that made them collapse. Imagine owning the most popular restaurant in town, then waking up one morning to find the road leading up to your restaurant being blocked off. The restaurant didn't suddenly become worse. People just stopped arriving, because if there is no road to lead to your restaurants, nobody will see it. And that is exactly what happened to BuzzFeed. The writers didn't forget to write, and the designers didn't forget how to make a headline. The audience simply stopped showing up. And once that happened, BuzzFeed had a choice: accept that the internet had changed, or try to outrun it. BuzzFeed knew they couldn't keep doing the same thing. The traffic wasn't coming back, and the internet they had mastered was certainly not coming back. So they did what almost any company does when success starts slipping. They reinvented themselves. BuzzFeed News became something completely different. Instead of quizzes, they hired journalists. Instead of listicles, they investigated corruption. They broke major stories, won awards, and for a moment, it looked like they had done it again. Then there was Tasty, simple cooking videos, fast recipes, perfect for social media. And once again, millions of people watched, millions of people shared. For a while, it felt like the old BuzzFeed was back. And you might be watching this video and in this story and thinking, now BuzzFeed made it, they came back, they're back, happy days, and But none of that solved the real issue. Because every new success they had still depended on somebody else's platform. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, it didn't matter which platform it was. BuzzFeed was always playing by somebody else's rules. It's like a cum socket for all the media companies to jizz in. And being a cum socket, I mean, that is a very dangerous position to be in. Because the moment those rules change, you have to change with them. Whether you're ready or not, or you want it or not, you gotta do it. Layoffs started happening. Not one or two, but again and again. Teams disappeared, projects were cancelled. People who had helped build BuzzFeed were suddenly gone. Eventually, BuzzFeed News, one of the most respected parts of that company, was shut down. I need you to think about that for a second. A company that once looked impossible to stop couldn't even keep alive the part of the business that had won awards. By then, the downfall wasn't coming anymore. It already happened. Looking back, it's easy to laugh at BuzzFeed. Maybe you remember the quizzes, the clickbait, or the endless lists. And honestly, a lot of these do deserve criticism, but I don't think that is why BuzzFeed fell apart. Because if bad content was enough to destroy a whole company, BuzzFeed would have been gone a long time ago. Instead, it survived for much longer than people even realized. What finally brought BuzzFeed down was something much harder to see. They spent years building one of the biggest audiences on the internet, but they never truly really owned it. Facebook did. And for years, that partnership looked perfect. BuzzFeed got an audience and Facebook got engagement. Everybody won. Until one side decided to change the rules. And the other side had no choice but to live with the consequences. And that is what makes BuzzFeed's downfall so fascinating. Because this video and this story isn't really about BuzzFeed. It is a story about the internet. The internet changes, platforms change, and algorithms change. And companies that seem impossible to stop today could become tomorrow's cautionary tale. Maybe BuzzFeed wasn't too big to fail. Maybe it was simply standing on ground it never actually owned. That is going to be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I actually recorded this video before and I had the mic disconnected, so now I had to re-record it. I don't know, this probably was shit, but I tried my best. I'm sorry. Don't forget to leave feedback in the comment sections. And I don't know if you saw the cat, she's currently under the bed, but I got a cat, so yeah, subscribe.